and welcome back to Armchair Pundits. I'm your host James. We have Yao here today again.
Hi.
We have Leon here today again.
Hello, peoples.
And today we'll be discussing the recently announced England squad with the retirement of Ashley Cole. And we'll also continue from a previous podcast where we had the best goalkeeper and best defenders. We're gonna add our best midfielders and best attackers to complete our squads. So, to start off, England team has been announced. I will announce the England lineup now. England team consists of 3 goalkeepers: Fraser Forster, Ben Foster, Joe Hart. Defenders: Leighton Baines, Gary Cahill, Phil Jagielka, Glenn Johnson, Phil Jones, Luke Shaw and Chris Smalling. Midfielders: Ross Barkley, Steven Gerrard, the captain, Jordan Henderson, Adam Lallana, Frank Lampard, James Milner, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Raheem Sterling, Jack Wilshere, and the attackers are Ricky Lambert, Wayne Rooney, Daniel Sturridge and Danny Welbeck. And on standby you have John Ruddy, goalkeeper, John Flanagan, list of Johns here. John Flanagan, right back, stroke left back. John Stones, right back, stroke centre back. Michael Carrick that is. Tom Cleverley, Andy Carroll and Jermaine Defoe. So personally, there wasn't much of a surprise in the squad. I would have liked to have seen Ashley Cole in there. I'm one of the believers that Luke Shaw is good, but I don't think he's as good as everyone says he is. The way I look at it, if Leighton Baines got injured after 5 minutes of the game, are you happy to have Luke Shaw for the entire rest of the tournament? I'm not so sure. Yeah?
I'll be honest with you. Hearing that Ashley Cole was not put in that squad, absolute joke. You take him to the World Cup. He's international experience and his level of play at international level is far higher than.
He'd never let England down. As far as I'm aware.
What? He's never let England down. You take him. I mean, he hasn't played much this season, and I understand that.
Which means that he's fresh.
Exactly. Azpilicueta has kept him out of the squad, the starting 11, but that's because that defender has played very well this season. But that does not mean that Ashley has gone down in form or anything like that. Even when Ashley's come into the team, he's played extremely well. So for me, you take him. You probably put Luke Shaw on the standby list, if anything, and probably take Leighton Baines. I just don't understand why Jagielka is there. To be honest with you, I know Everton had it.
Who would you take as a centre back? Let's be honest. Who else would you take as a centre back?
Is he starting?
He'll start. Jagielka
Lord.
fit. Jagielka will start. I think Jagielka's a good centre back. I don't know why you wouldn't take him. He hasn't really done anything poor for England. Leon?
I don't think he's good enough.
I actually don't think there's many surprises in there. I think rather than Jagielka was being one of the best centre backs in the league this season.
Yeah.
His injuries could tell that a little bit, but for me, I'm not really that bothered about the Ashley Cole thing. It's not. I don't have anything against Cole at all, but I actually don't think this is a World Cup that England can actually win. So why not blood the youngsters and give some of the younger guys a bit of experience? Because we've said in the past, you take all the same guys, the same World Cups, tournament in, tournament out, tournament in, tournament out. Now he's picked a younger person. I don't think we should be moaning about Ashley Cole, but there are other guys that I don't think should have gone, like Chris Smalling. For me, his form for Man U hasn't been very good this season. He's not looked good at centre back or at right back for me. Phil Jones, I can understand. He is a little bit more flexible and does look better when he does play in the other positions. Whereas for me, Smalling at right back looks poor. He hasn't got very good distribution, and at centre back he's looked very poor. Other than that, there isn't really too many shocks. Defoe didn't make it. He wanted to, but he's not really played for Tottenham. And then even in MLS, he started off okay, but he hasn't really lit the league on fire.
Yeah, well, he hasn't done what Dempsey's done. Dempsey's literally scored a goal a game.
That's what I mean. So for me, I think most of those selections are justified. The midfield, there's quite a few injury doubts which has surprised me a little bit because you want to take guys that you know are fit, that you know are fresh, but at the same time, those guys come back from injury. You don't know how long it's going to take them to get into their step again. Being match fit is completely different to being physically fit.
Guys like who?
Guys like Wilshere, he's not played. Oxlade Chamberlain hasn't played that much this season either. So for me, those two are a little bit risky. Jagielka's also been coming back from injury, but you have to take him because he's been, as I said, he's been one of the better English centre backs. So, with the standby guys,
Oxlade, Chamberlain, and Wilshere, like you said, because they're young.
Yeah,
and they
you
need
do.
experience.
But
that's why
are they going to be fit enough to go? That's the question. Are they going to be match ready when they get there? Because they're going to be playing in a completely different climate to they're used to. That is for sure. When they go and play in Manaus and those places that are quite high altitude and quite high humidity, it's going to be very difficult, especially if I've played any games. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
You know what? You look at the midfield and the defence, maybe I feel there is one or two surprises. Last week we spoke about Nathaniel Klein. I personally would have taken him over Smalling. I don't think Smalling's had a good season at all. In terms of the midfield, there's no one that I'm surprised about in the midfield, to be honest with you. Jordan Henderson, I think, deserves to go. He's had a very good season with Liverpool, and actually he's impressed me, so I believe he should go. I know, you look at that, you look at it and you think to yourself, it's a young squad, there's some experience there, but no one that really stands out for me as in anyone that's really going to light it up for me, to be honest with you.
Well, I look at it, I think you have to look at the season Adam Lallana's had. He's someone that England don't normally have or take to tournaments.
That's very true.
He's 2-footed.
He's like Joe Cole.
He can play, yeah, exactly.
He's how they used to treat Joe Cole, should I say?
Yeah, but I think he's better because Joe Cole played off the left, but he really didn't want to.
Yeah, that's true.
He really wanted to be a number 10 and just did it, and he never had the drive. He had the twinkle feet, but he never had the drive to really go past players with a little bit of pace. But I look at Lallana, and he's unexpected.
It's sad that Jay Rodriguez got injured. I'd have taken him.
But who would you have replaced him with? Because he's an attacker. So you got Ricky Lambert, you got Wayne Rooney, you got Sturridge, you got Welbeck. Unless you take a midfielder out, who do you take?
I'll take Jack out.
You take Jack Wilshere.
I'll take Jack Wilshere out. Jack Wilshere has been in and out of the Arsenal team for most of the season due to injury. I'm not saying, that he's performed badly because he has, played pretty well this season when he has been in the team on a few occasions. But on a whole, if Jay Rodriguez is fit and not injured, Jack Wilshere goes into the standby. If that.
Okay, a lot of people have commented on the fact that Carrick, regardless of the season he's had, the fact that he can keep possession, and we're going into a country where it will be hot. Should Carrick have been in that team at least? Because some people say Lampard has been there, he's done it, he's wasted so many opportunities. Why is he getting another one? Carrick hasn't been given opportunities that Lampard has. This should have been Carrick's chance.
Frank is hard to break down. Let's be honest. In when it comes to club football, there's no way you can disrespect Frank Lampard for what he's done. But for some mind-boggling reason, I can't see how or whenever it's going to transfer into international.
He hasn't been that poor. He still gets goals. He just doesn't score the winning goals like he used to, like he did for Chelsea. But his goal records.
It's not bad. It's not bad. But at the same time, I'm talking about performance.
Okay.
I'm not talking about goals. I mean, anyone can nick a goal at internet. And I'm not being disrespectful to any player out there. But if you're in the right place at the right time, you can virtually nick a goal. But I'm saying in performance, he has rarely. I can't even name you a day that I remember him shining for England.
Well,
know why?
Because
most of the time in tournaments, the whole team doesn't.
Yeah.
If you look at England in tournaments where they've gone with, this squad, you look at it and no one, if you are opposition teams, you don't look at that squad and think, oh my gosh, I'm actually really scared of a lot of those players. You won't say that you're scared of England looking at that squad. However, what they do have is a lot of young players who will drive the team along because they don't care about all that other stuff. That's what you're hoping for when you put young players in. You're hoping that they won't care about all of that reputation, all of that golden era of English football. You're hoping that doesn't count for anything, because that's why you try and blood youngsters and give them a chance to experience tournament football, which a lot of these haven't even been in under 21 tournaments really, because they keep getting bumped up and not playing because their managers doesn't want them to play too many tournaments and all this kind of stuff.
I reckon they should play the under 21.
So that's the argument you have. This summer, Southgate is going to the Toulon tournament. It's under 20s tournament.
Yeah.
So do you think the likes of...
If you're not going to the World Cup and you are under 21,
yeah,
you go and play.
But not going to the World Cup. I think that would be the case. But I'm talking about people like John Stones who could end up getting in there. Phil Jones is in there.
Why not? John Stones hasn't played every game this season. He's played like the latter part of the season because of injuries. But why not?
No, but I'm saying, so should he automatically be not on the standby list because he should be going to?
Well, the standby list doesn't mean that you're going. So,
but why? But as I'm saying, why is he considered? If they've got that tournament coming up, he should be a case of, okay, you're going to that tournament. Same with Ross Barkley. Fair enough, he's good enough to play for England, but if he's not going to play, if he's not guaranteed to play, should he just be another one? Okay,
Ross Barkley will play in this tournament.
He will definitely play.
He will play.
He will probably start.
I'm telling you now.
He'll probably start.
He will have to play.
He'll probably start. I'll tell you this now. One thing that I find fascinating about England compared to other international teams, Mesut Ozil played in the under-21 championship and the under-23 European championship. Now, you sit there and think to yourself, who did he come up against? I think he came up against Agboglohor. He came up against a few of the Ghanaian youngsters at the point, or at that time when he was still in the under-21 format, which was the AU brothers. He came up against a few of the Argentinians. Now look at him. Starting for Germany, first team.
That's most of the Germans though, because Khedira was in that same
Yeah, but
team.
all of them went through the under-21. They all went through the under. It was almost like an entire team before they went to the first team. The first team now consists of at least 6 players that I can tell you I personally watched at under-21 level. In the England team, I can't remember a match that Raheem Sterling played or a tournament that he played in for the under-21s. I can't even tell you a tournament that Ross Barkley played for the under-21s. Jack Wilshere didn't. And yet they're starting or on the verge of starting for the first team. I'm not saying you don't deserve your chance. Every player, if you're good enough, you deserve your chance. But what I'm saying is go about it the right way. Let them get used to tournament type.
So in that case, they should not be here then. So, for instance, you might as well say Jack Wilshere should not be here. Should be going there.
No, he shouldn't. No,
He's still under the age. Raheem Sterling should be here.
No. We're saying if you're gonna play these, I actually think these guys are gonna play. Because if you look at England's team, you look at the makeup of it, the balance of it. I think those guys will have a part to play in this tournament. But if you are, what I am saying is, if you are not going to the World Cup and you are under 20, you should not be telling the manager, "Oh, I need to rest," because you do not need to rest.
You need to play games.
You need to play games because every other European young player is playing games in the summertime. Get used to it now, so that when you get to that higher level, you already know what it's like to play extra games. Same thing with David Bentley. Look what happened to him.
Yeah, it's true. So
they get too ahead of themselves. Now let's look at the strikers.
The strikers that we have, who would you start with? Is it simple as to say it's Sturridge and Rooney has to be?
I think it is. What can you say to that?
It's written in stone.
As much as Rooney is disappointed in many tournaments for England, he's the guy that you want to go and lead your team out, because they haven't got anyone that's as good as him or as talented as him. But Rooney just needs to perform. Sturridge, I think he's a great outlet to have. He will cause defensive trouble. He's got pace. He's very confident one-on-ones, and England haven't had that person that can go beyond, that you'd think that on a one-on-one situation you'd fancy them to score. But Sturridge is that guy, and I think you have to play the both of them. Whether England will, I don't know. How England will go about it, I don't know. But I think those two have to play. They really do. I think you have to play two up in this World Cup. Whether you make one drop behind the other, fair enough. But you can't leave someone isolated. I don't think you could do that in this World Cup.
Does Ricky Lambert merit his spot?
Why not?
Who else
He's played well. He's played well this season. He's actually played well this season. I'm never going to take it away from him.
For Andy Carroll.
For what reason?
the difference maker.
What?
A different dimension.
What, long ball?
Because let's be honest, I'm not the greatest fan, but to a degree, it worked for Hodgson in the last Euros. Andy Carroll had a fair degree of success.
Apart from when England came up against a big team.
Okay. So where did they go into the tournament? Quarterfinals?
I'm not saying for him to start.
I think for most people that call for players like Andy Carroll, and I really don't care what their feeling is as to what I'm about to say, but for most people that call out for Andy Carroll, a guy that's barely played this season, and when he has played, he only causes a threat in the air. Because on the floor, I'm not scared of Andy Carroll. And when you go to tournaments like this, if teams realize, all right, you want to play in the air, we'll keep it on the floor. We'll make that player bring that ball down. And once he brings it down, we'll take it off him. International level is a higher intelligence of football. Let's break it down here. This is not the qualifiers. You're not going up against Latvia and Kazakhstan week in, week out. You're going up against the top 32 or 3 teams in a group stage, but you're going up against 32 other nations that are literally have qualified and dismantled everyone else within their category to make it to this stage. This is the best of the best. Am I right in saying that? This is the best of the best for the most part that have qualified. You can't be taking a player like Andy Carroll who's done. Whoa, I can't even tell you what he's done this season for West Ham. It's nothing special. That's what I can tell you. Ricky Lambert is not just a player that you can loft the ball up to. He can actually play the ball on the ground. He is got some fancy feet on him. Let's not deny that.
Yeah, so having said all that, the squad itself, are you happy with the squad? Do you think this squad can get out of the group stages, Leon?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it, really? For me, no, just because of Italy and Uruguay. They've got too much tournament know-how. Italy are always that team that everyone goes, they don't look so good this time. And then they get out the group stage. They might draw their every single game and they'll get out the group stage. And then they may get knocked out next round. But Italy will get out. And Uruguay, I think they got too much firepower for England. And they're always a team that play as a team as well. So I can't see it, but I wouldn't be surprised if England did manage to scrape through. But it would be very tough.
Yeah. I think people are forgetting the dark horses in this group.
Not Costa Rica.
Oh my gosh! These guys will. They're gonna steal a point of somebody, or they're going to steal probably maximum points of somebody. I'm telling you that right now. There is definitely a shock coming from Costa Rica. I could see England beating Costa Rica. I can see them working their way to a draw, probably against Italy. But I don't think that would be enough to get them out of the group. And I can see Uruguay finishing top of the group.
James?
I'm going to be hopeful. Italy are short on strikers right now. I know Rossi's just come back and he scored in his comeback, but is he fit enough? Who else do they have behind that? What's his name? El Shaarawy.
He's just come back.
Just come back, but he has not played at all this season, so he's not going to be ready. Immobile's had a really good season, who Dortmund are rumoured to have signed.
Alessio Churchy, his strike partner.
But they're not
recognise names, but neither is... People go, well, Ricky Lambert, really? Okay, you're bringing him?
Welbeck
scored like 8 goals this season.
9.
Fair enough. I'm just trying to be
9 goals.
I'm just trying to be hopeful for England. I think that if the youngsters turn it on and they play fast, they play the Premiership way. They think, you know what? Forget this fancy football. We'll play our Premiership football. Play with pace. Play with some tactical knowledge, some tactical nous, and strong defensively. Maybe they can do a thing.
It's too hot in that country for that to be happening.
Not in every.
The heat will kill them.
Not in every ground. Remember, they said in certain parts it's not as hot.
That's true.
And in time of the pitch, time of the games as well. Not all the games are in the searing heat. They did that purposely.
I
It's
do
not going to
agree.
be that case. So it's going to be hot through the week, but the games will be relatively okay. So they've got a chance, and I think the squad's good enough. It's young enough. It's fast enough, and it's talented enough. So England will not win the World Cup, but I will say they'll get out of the group stage. Now we'll move on to our midfielders of the season, and then we'll go on to our attackers of the season. So strikers of the season after that. So we'll start with left wing.
Left wing.
Yep, left wing.
I think this is an easy one for me. Eden.
What we'll do a 4-4-2.
Eden Hazard.
Because we're in England, we'll do a 4-4-2.
A 4-4-2.
So you've got Eden Hazard left wing.
Can't really argue with that. He won the Young Player of the Year. He was absolutely outstanding at the beginning of the season. Kind of faded off, but I think Chelsea kind of faded off in general with their Champions League exploits as the season wore on. They didn't seem as convincing. So,
Go for Eden Hazard as well.
Yeah, I'd go for Eden.
Gonna have to go for Eden Hazard. I will throw in.
I should mention for Raheem.
No, because Raheem's probably gonna go on my right wing, so it's not should mention. Adam Lallana.
He's going on my right wing, me.
Adam Lallana. It's had a good season. He's got 10 goals this season, and quite a few assists as well. So it's helped Southampton out quite a bit. So I'll put a shout out there. So I'll do my right wing. I've already said his name already. So Sterling will go on my right, and I would have Eden Hazard on the left. I think Sterling's gone from strength to strength. Second half of the season, there hasn't been many better consistently. Wide men than Sterling. I know Rodgers said there isn't a better teenager in the world at the moment. It's arguable. There could be some people that have played in Spain that are doing really well, which I can't think off the top of my head. But he has been in superb form. Merited his spot in England. Merited his spot at Liverpool. So, Raheem Sterling. Right wing.
Right wing. I don't know, because I would have. It is a toss up between Sterling and Lallana. I do like Lallana a lot as a player. Sterling's pace is just frightening. I think I'll put Sterling in my team as my right winger. If I had to pick one of the two, I'll probably put Sterling. So yeah, Raheem Sterling.
I'll go with Lallana. I think over the course of the season, he's been consistently one of Southampton's best players, and you can say, "Oh, it's the Southampton, blah 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 blah." But the reason they finished 8th is definitely because of him, and
partly.
But you have to look at what the rest of the players say about him, and he's not just his attacking that he does; it's the work that he does off the ball. It's how he galvanises the team. He's been the captain, and for me, I think his influence has been second to none. So I'll go with Lallana personally.
Okay, so we'll do both centre midfielders. In fact, I don't want it to be boring, so I'll let you two do your centre midfielders first, and I might see if there's been any change, but I'm pretty sure we're all gonna choose the same guys in the field. So yeah,
I'm gonna go with Yaya Toure. That's a surefire one, and Aaron Ramsey. Surprisingly.
Well done. Okay. Why?
Aaron Ramsey, when he was injured, I felt sorry for Arsenal. Not really. I'm glad that they didn't do too well. But when he was injured, you could tell that Arsenal were missing something. When he was in the team, he was unstoppable. Like goals, or creating a chance here and there. For me, he even outshone Ozil. I know Ozil came with that big price tag, but for me, he was definitely the outright player of the season. And when he got injured, it affected the rest of the season. As he came back, as you can see, it took him a few games to get back into it. But once he got back into the flow of things, he was just back to normal, business as usual.
Normal or the new?
The new, should I say, the new Ramsey. Aaron Ramsey, as people like to call him, the new Aaron Ramsey. Don't get twisted. I've been a big fan of Eriksen, and I would happily have put him in there. But unfortunately for me as a Spurs fan, Ramsey has been doing it, and until he got injured, he was doing it. And Yaya Toure, from top to bottom, has just been an absolute beast.
Okay, Leon.
Definitely Yaya. Now, scratching my head between the other partner, it's difficult to leave.
Nuts.
It's difficult to leave Aaron Ramsey out, but Steven Gerrard this season has been outstanding for Liverpool. He's changed his role from being that box-to-box guy, from being the all-action, where the Rovers type player, to being a much more controlled, defensive, deep-lying playmaker. And I think for me, Gerrard has been outstanding this season. His goals, assists, a lot of his goals have come from penalties, admittedly, but his contribution to Liverpool's season, obviously along with certain other well-known players, but for me, Gerrard and Yaya Toure would be my midfielders of the season. I think Aaron Ramsey has been absolutely outstanding. But it'd be interesting to see if he had been able to stay fit for the whole season. It would have continued across the whole season, whether that form would have continued. But I'm gonna go with Gerrard and Yaya. Yaya, second to none. He's an absolute steam train, and when he's on form, he's absolutely unstoppable. So for me, those are my two midfielders.
Obviously, being a Liverpool fan and the season that we've had this season, Gerrard was always going to be on midfield because of his performances, not just because he's our captain, but like Leon said, after echo what Leon said, it's been fantastic this season. He's led us from the front. He's been mocked for some of the antics over the last couple of weeks. He's took it on the chin. He's just got up and started again. Showed character last game of the season when we were losing. There was no way to get it in, and as we said last time, they parked the bus. And as I said in the last show, you can park the bus till you like, but parking the bus does not stop you from conceding from set pieces, and that's what happened. Gerrard's had 2 free kicks, 2 goals. So the assist that he's had this season, and just his all-round play, he's been a real leader. And then Yaya Toure, who arguably for me is probably the best midfielder in the world. I can't think of anyone that does what he does better. You can say you've got Iniesta, you've got Xavi, but I don't know. It's just he just frightens you when he's playing. You're scared of what's going to happen. So I have to have Yaya in there. So that's our midfield. Finally, we've got our strikers. I will throw it out there. You don't have to choose 2 strikers. If one of you two want to choose and change the formation to have one up front because you think there's only one striker you can choose, there's no one that's been up there, and there's another midfielder you really want to put in, then I'll give you the opportunity to put that midfielder in.
Okay. I'm not going to put another midfielder in because one is my personal favourite. I don't expect everyone to agree with me, but when this guy was fit, he was all trouble. I call him BIA. Bad intentions, Aguero. Okay, that guy, he's special. Okay.
What you call him? What?
Bad intentions, Aguero.
BIA.
BIA.
I like that.
All he has is bad intentions. There's nothing good that he has for your team. It's always bad intentions. Okay. Special player. But whenever he was playing, you just knew Man City were going to cause you some sort of damage. I mean, Negredo helped him and was a great partner as a strike partner, but BIA, bad intention Aguero, was just an absolute beast.
If he could stay fit.
If he could stay fit, I'd be frightened for the Premier League record in terms of goals over a season.
Yeah.
And the other guy, after mentioning that, well, there's no denying that you have to put him in there. Louis.
Oh, I thought you said Andy Carroll.
You are taking a mick. Luis Suarez definitely deserves to be in the best forwards of the season, no doubt. I don't even need to say anything on it.
Liam, is it the same as?
If Aguero had been fit for the whole year, and you could argue that his influence still led City to the title, he would have been a shadow of a doubt up there. But I have to go with Sturridge and Suarez as the strike force of the season. The amount of goals they've conjured up between them, the relationship between them in terms of how many goals they set up for each other, they've caused endless problems to pretty much every team bar Chelsea this season. And for me, when you have a strike partnership that's been as good as that, you don't get that very often. They've basically been the SAS Part 2 after Shearer and Sutton, you could say, and maybe even better than York and Cole have been when they were playing together. So for me, I'll go with Suarez and Sturridge. But yeah, definitely a special mention for Mr. BIA, because he would have definitely been in my team had he been fit and continuing the scoring form that he showed whilst he was fit.
So for me, just to keep it short and sweet, it has to be the 2 Liverpool strikers. Like you guys have said as well, don't want to keep beating the drum, but if Aguero had been fully fit, I think he probably would have got 30 goals as well, or more. So Sturridge and Suarez, just fantastic. They are the reason why Liverpool are why Liverpool are where they are right now. 101 goals this season, and they scored half of them, if not more than half. So, the teams, if you can remember them, guys, I remember my team. So, just in case you can't remember your full squad from goalkeeper to strikers, I had Peter Cech in goal. I had Zabaleta right back. I had Dejan Lovren and Cahill as my centre backs. Left back, I had Azpilicueta. Left wing, I had Eden Hazard with Gerrard and with Yaya Toure in the middle. Right side, I had Raheem Sterling. Up front, SAS in Suarez and Sturridge. I think that is a fantastic team to take on the world and to defend the world. Yeah,
I had Hugo Lloris, Luke Shaw at left back, Cahill and Pierre Mertesacker as my centre back partnership. I had Seamus Coleman as my right back, Eden Hazard as my left wing, Raheem Sterling as my right wing, Yaya Toure and Aaron Ramsey as my centre midfield partnership, and I had BIA, Bad Intentions Aguero, and Luis Suarez as my strike force. I generally believe that would strike fear in any manager. Any manager.
My team was Lloris in goal, right back Zabaleta, centre backs Cahill and Koscielny, left back Azpilicueta, right midfield I had Lallana, centre midfield Gerrard and Yaya Toure, left midfield Eden Hazard, and then my strike force was the SAS also.
Well, one thing I'm happy, because football is not so simple, is that we haven't all got exactly the same team. Minute differences, just like we would have been with the England squad. Minute differences, but overall, the best players have been by far and above the best players this season, and that's why they've all been. We've all picked certain players in our team. So, I'd like to thank you, listeners. I'd like to thank Yao. I'd like to thank Liam.
It was great to be back.
Thanks for having me, as usual.
And we look forward to the next show. Take care.
Bless.
Bye.